Welcome back, everybody. So in the last video you saw that I went ahead and cleaned up everything in the engine bay. Actually, right afterwards, was sitting down here with my buddy Connor, and we were kind of trying to come up with a little bit of more of a strategy and just figure out what all exactly I wanted to be able to do. And as you can see, I've already started on, I'm gonna be shaving the bay. This was something I really was not planning on doing at the beginning of this whole build process. I was honestly planning to pull the motor, just wipe everything down essentially, just make it a little bit nicer, and then go ahead, build the motor, slap it all back together. However, when I got it out, I saw down here along the frame rails, there's a little bit of rust. There's a little bit of rust up around the front here. There's just a couple of spots that I wasn't thrilled with, and wanted to be able to make sure that I prevented any long-term issues and, you know, putting all this effort into the car and then just having it rot out over time. So I decided instead I would go ahead and touch up the bay with some different paint. And after I decided to do that, you know, just kind of like what happens with a lot of stuff, continues to pile up, and it's one of those like, well, while I'm there, let me do this. And when I realized I was going to respray the bay, I kind of have a hard time deciding, did I want to do it back white again like it is, or did what I want to do it something different in case I ever decide to change the color of the car. Think I came up with the plan to do it a gray color, and with that I was needing to do some body work, needing to do some touch up on a couple of spots in here. I figured I'd go ahead, take out pretty much all of the brackets, quite honestly. I'm getting rid of the hood strut or bracket piece, because the hoods on these, when they fold forward, they actually can flip all the way forward and they don't have to have a hood strut there. I'll probably still get a hood prop just in case it's ever windy or anything. My hood doesn't slam closed, cause any damage to anything, or hurt me or whoever else may have their head poked over the top of the bay. But removing that, I'm removing these brackets that held in the coolant reservoir. These back here, this stuff is for the hood latch. That's all staying. The battery tray has to stay. That's formed into the body pretty decent. I don't want to take that out. And then the majority of the stuff is actually going to be over on this side. These three brackets are for the ABS module, and I've already removed the ABS module. So I'm going to go ahead and take these brackets out, taking both of these studs out of here. I'm going to be taking this off, and then this bracket right here actually was the mounting bracket for the airflow meter, which is kind of the equivalent of like the mass airflow sensor on more modern cars. So that mounted the air box, and it also had the airflow meter on it. So that's going to come out. And then I think I mentioned it in the last video, but I'm also going to go ahead and get some panels made that cover all of this space. Once that's done, it'll get rid of all these small unnecessary slots and holes and stuff that doesn't need to be there. Just try to really make this bay look as good as possible. If I'm this far into it and going to be tearing it all apart to this extent, I figure we may as well go ahead and take it all the way. So I will go ahead, I'm probably about to set it up on a time lapse to let you guys see the beginning of this. I've got my little grinder right here, put on some safety glasses, get the air tank going, and start trying to cut out some of these larger brackets over here. I will get this set up on a time lapse for you guys and get back here once I get a couple of these brackets taken out. We got this first bracket off. It was a little bit rough. First time ever cutting stuff out of an engine bay like this, so I'm not great at it. I don't completely know what I'm doing. I'm sure there's much better ways. If anybody's watching any of this and has has a little bit better idea for it, go ahead and drop a comment down below about it. But I did get this out. I've still got to cut this bracket off, and then there's some small pieces of metal kind of as I was using the chisel to break it away. I got a small little hole right here that went through the metal, but all of this stuff is going to be ground down flat. It's going to be body work back over the top. If there's spots that I need to weld in some little patch panels, or even just fill some of these holes and grind them down, that is the plan. I'm going to try to make it look nice. We're not going to leave it with any extra holes and spots that it can rust up in the future. So there's the largest of them down. I'm going to go ahead and get started down here on these. Probably won't set up another time lapse for these. I'll just go ahead and update you guys once we get some more work done. All right, I just got the whole bay taken care of. Went ahead and cut out, ground out, and chiseled out just about every bracket that's in here. There's still a little bit left that needs to be done with a grinder, just coming through, smoothing out some of these sharp edges and some of the weld buildup from when it was welded back together. Just trying to get a little bit smoother before I body work it, but all of the brackets are at least cut out. There is nothing left that is needing to be cut before I can start trying to smooth everything out. I went ahead and cut out these studs as well that were along the frame rail and inside of the fender, I guess, or side panel of the engine bay. Gonna be getting rid of those. I figure any stud area that I may still need a bolt, if there's anywhere that is still needed when the car goes back together, I'm gonna go ahead, drill a hole, riv nut it, and I'll just use that as the bracket. Will help clean it up a little bit instead of having a stud sticking out. This may be a little bit of a shorter video today, but it's about all the time that I've got, so I'm gonna be signing off here. You guys like the video, be sure to let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one.